We've all learned over the last year or so that everyone loves French toast. Greg, Jesse James West, Iron Musket even has his own pizza French toast. And almost every single person that tries Greg's French toast for the first time loves it.
3, 2, 1. Wow, that's incredible. Holy sh**.
Today we're gonna put a little spin on things. Everyone has been loving my birthday cake protein milkshake. So I figured, why not make a birthday cake French toast? Variety is key in any diet. So even if you're not sick of regular French toast, try the birthday cake French toast out because I am sure you are going to love it. And we're not using any regular toast. We're gonna have it on Texas toast, where everything is bigger. Let's head to the Anabolic Laboratory, make some birthday cake French toast, and get completely stuffed in the process. My name is Nick, or Exercise for Cheat Meals, where I review other people's recipes and make my own, which we're doing today. So if you're into that kind of thing, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Now, everyone knows how to make French toast, thanks to Greg, but I'm just gonna show you how I make mine and the ingredients I use for this recipe, and just in general. I separate my egg whites manually, is that the way to say it? And we're gonna do 6 egg whites, or about 34, 68, 180, about 204 grams of egg whites. Now I'm making double the recipe for the thumbnail, so I'm gonna do 12 egg whites, but 6 egg whites for the purposes of this video and for the recipe. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, the reason that I do this by hand is because I can get a dozen eggs here for about 70 cents, which is much cheaper than if I buy the carton of egg whites that's already separated for me. So if by you it's essentially the same price or only a couple pennies more, I don't blame you, just get the egg whites. But for me, it saves me a couple dollars every time, and especially making recipes, I run through eggs like no other. So obviously you're gonna get a different number every time you separate the egg white from the yolk. Some eggs will have a little bit more egg white, a little bit bigger yolk, etc. So for 12, I have 430 grams. So it'd be like 215 grams of egg white, which is a couple calorie difference than I said from 204. But if you're in that range, that's all that really matters. I love cinnamon. I go pretty heavy on the cinnamon. So I'm gonna go 5 grams of cinnamon, which is gonna be 10 grams since I'm doubling the recipe. Perfect. I also like sweets a lot. So I use 6 grams of this Purecane. This is erythritol. I always get the artificial sweeteners names mixed up or say them wrong, but I like this one the best. Stevia, whatever, still has calories in it. Sucralose still has calories in it. This does, but it's like 0.2 calories per gram, somewhere around there, 0.2, 0.3. So when you use a good amount of it, you don't get really any calories. And I always count this in to the calories as well, including the sucralose, stevia, whatever I use in a recipe. So 6 grams times 2, I'm gonna use 12 grams, but 6 grams if you're only making 1 serving. And if you're wondering where I got this, I got it on Amazon. Everything that I use will be in the description below. I actually tried a bunch of different sugars for my cookie dough recipe I have coming out soon, and I ended up really liking this one, so I would highly recommend this. And I'll actually be using this going forward for ice cream recipes and all of that jazz as well. So I'm gonna go 2 grams of salt, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla, or 2 if you're making 2 servings. And that's it. Now, most egg whites you get in the carton are pretty smooth. These are pretty clumpy, and especially when I'm trying to mix it by hand. What's that thing called? Whisk. And the cinnamon never gets unclumpy when I whisk it by hand. So I'm gonna use a mixer for about 30 seconds to a minute to really just blend everything together. And I'm gonna be scraping the sides as I do it, pushing it into the mixer so everything gets blended really well and that everything is like evenly coated in cinnamon and sugar and all that good stuff. Okay, bye. Now we're gonna start heating up our skillet here. I like putting it at 300 degrees. If you have one that is like controllable like that, it literally never burns at 300 degrees. I've left it for like half an hour, 45 minutes. Will it get a little bit drier? Yeah, but at 300 degrees, you're actually not going to burn it. So at least on this skillet, 300 degrees is like perfect. Now with Texas toast, you can't treat dredging it like a regular piece of bread just because it's thicker. So what I usually will do is have this sit in here for a minute before I flip it so it could really soak in there, and then let it soak for a minute again, swirl it around a little bit, and then plop it on to the skillet. So I'm gonna give this a quick spray. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, boom. I'll be back once all of these are cooking and we're ready to make the frosting. Once that is done, I like to give it another quick spray on the top so when we flip, they don't stick. And it takes about 20 minutes for these to cook on both sides. So in 10 minutes, I'll come back and flip, and then we'll have to wait another 10 minutes. In the meantime, it takes about 20 minutes to make the frosting, which we will make 4 servings at the same time, so you have it for the whole week. Let's get into the frosting. What you'll need to make this is Swerve confectioner sugar, fat-free cream cheese, sprinkles, cake batter, pure vanilla, and not pictured salt and light butter. We're gonna start out by adding our butter into the bowl, obviously with the scale underneath because we want to make sure we have precise measurements, and we're putting 42 grams of butter in that bad boy. Next, we're gonna put a whole package of fat-free cream cheese and plop it right on in there. This slow motion's kind of weird. Actually, let me know in the comments if you like it. It's just kind of weird right now doing the voiceover to it. And then we're going to add our salt, which is 1.5 grams of salt. And we grab our mixer and we start blending. But I warn you guys, this is gonna take a while. So this first step, we're going to mix for about 5 minutes. We wanna make sure everything is completely blended. As you can see, the progression is pretty quick, but looks can be deceiving. So I make sure that I get everything blended by grabbing a rubber spatula and really folding everything into the mixing blades so I can really make sure everything is nice and smooth, just like butter. So as you can see, it looks smooth, but I still want to make sure it's extra smooth. After those 5 minutes are up, I'm gonna take my bowl, put it to the side, and then I'm gonna weigh out my confectioner sugar, and we're gonna get 60 grams here. Then we grab our vanilla extract, and we're adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we're gonna add 4 grams of cake batter to the mixture, and we blend this in for 3 more minutes. We will be at 8 minutes total for blending after this is done. And as you can see with this, it's also coming together very nicely. Once those 3 minutes is up, we're going to grab our plate and start pouring in our confectioner sugar in what I think is called in parts. I'm not 100% sure, but over a 5-minute period, I spread it over 4 different parts of sugar and made sure everything was blended. Once that 5 minutes was up, I took a quick break. You know I had to try the frosting, and of course, it tastes like a 10. But we got to get back to mixing. This is crucial. It looks like it's mixed, but I promise you, I have a special friend. She tried to make 4 or 5 different batches, and only one of them came out smooth. If you're not blending and not mixing it enough, it is going to end up being grainy, and every time you put a little bit of it in your mouth, it's gonna be almost like chewy, like sand in your mouth. Not good. What you want to do is mix away for those last 6 minutes and really make sure everything is blended nicely. Scrape the sides of the bowl, scrape the bottom of the bowl, just keep blending until those 6 minutes are up. It's worth it because you'll have 4 servings, if not more, for birthday cake French toast. Then we're gonna put our bowl back on the scale, grab our sprinkles, add 12 grams, fold them in, and we are done. We'll just add it to a plastic container, and as you can see, this weighs 315 grams. So we are going to have over 75 grams a serving. Now, we need to put that in the fridge and let that chill for a few hours, and those flavors are just going to be enhanced as it sits in the fridge. Luckily, I'm kind of smart and already have one done. After you mix everything together and pour it back into the bowl and weigh it out, it weighs right around 310 grams. I've gotten gotten 308, I've gotten 315. The end all be all is that you get about 76 to 78 grams per serving. So I like to go layer by layer. The first 2 layers, I'm gonna add 20 grams each. So I have my frosting and my scale's turned on and I'm literally just looking at it to see, oh, is 20 grams out? Nope, 15. We'll move this out of the way so you can see everything. Doesn't have to be right on the dot, so 19, this is perfect. Because I want frosting in each layer. It's like layering a cake and not having any frosting in between. It's like, what's the point of layering it if you're not putting anything in between? So now I'm at 42 grams. So that gives me about 35 grams to use on the top one. And I like to have a little bit more on the top one for multiple reasons. 1, you can put more on it and have it like drip down a little bit so it goes along the sides. 2, if I want to eat that one separately, I can literally just pick it up and eat it, and it has extra frosting on it, which is also a great thing for me. And 3, it's gonna look better for the thumbnail. So of course I'm gonna put more on top. All right, 77 grams. Now this might be too much for you. You can pull back on the frosting. That'll lower the calories a little bit and lower the protein a little bit, but some people don't like it as sweet. I want a lot of frosting in each bite. And voila, here we are. 3 beautiful French toast, nice and heavy, but in birthday cake fashion. And this definitely rivals the syrup version in my opinion, but I love birthday cake flavored anything. There's just enough of the sugar in it so it doesn't taste like cream cheese. Yet at the same time, I tested it out multiple times to make sure that there wouldn't be too much sugar to where it wasn't overly sweet. Now, if you make it and for your taste it's too sweet, just pull back about 10 grams on the confectioner sugar or powdered sugar and you'll be good. And by the way, I highly recommend you buy the 3-pack that comes with the confectioner sugar, the regular sugar, and the brown sugar, because we will be using the brown sugar and the regular sugar very soon. For this recipe, as is, we are looking at 540 calories, 9 grams of fat, 80 carbs, and 39 protein. If you wanted to, you could probably add another egg white to your recipe. That'll up the protein. You could use regular bread and super easily make it under 500 calories. Or you could use just a little bit less frosting and also make it right at that 500 calorie mark. For me, I would recommend that you try it once this way and then you'll know. Is it too much food? Is it too much frosting? Is the frosting too sweet? And then next time you make it, you can really dial it in. And the best part is you have 4 days worth of birthday cake French toast. So we've essentially meal prepped it. I am going to go enjoy the absolute shit out of this right now. And I will see you next week. There's a couple very, very good recipes coming out. If you've been following me on Instagram, you already know a lot about it. So if you're not yet, I would go follow myself right now. And until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.